You're on call in the emergency department. A patient comes in with a fractured wrist, but the unmistakable smell of alcohol fills the room. Do you know exactly which conversational intervention to use right now to change their trajectory without alienating them? If you're a psychiatry resident, mastering the difference between brief intervention, motivational interviewing, and relapse prevention is not just high yield for your board exams, it is essential for your clinical survival. Today, we are breaking down exactly when and how to use each approach based on the patient's stage of change. Let us start with the brief intervention. Think of this as your opportunistic strike. You use this when a patient is in the pre-contemplation or contemplation stage. They either do not think they have a problem or they are just starting to wonder if they do. Your goal here is simple: raise awareness and plant a seed. The gold standard structure for this is the frames model. Give personalized feedback on their risk. Emphasize that the responsibility to change is entirely theirs. Give clear and direct advice as a physician. Offer a menu of options for change so they do not feel boxed in. Express empathy to avoid resistance. And finally, boost their self-efficacy by pointing out their past successes. This takes 5 to 15 minutes and is perfect for hazardous drinking picked up on a routine screen. Now, what happens when the patient actually knows they should change but they are stuck in ambivalence? This is where you shift from brief intervention to motivational interviewing. You are no longer planting a seed, you are watering it. Motivational interviewing is a clinical style used in the contemplation and preparation stages. Instead of telling the patient what to do, you use the ORS technique: open questions, affirmations, reflections, and summaries. Your ultimate goal is to elicit change talk. You want the patient to argue for their own recovery. Remember, you are not fighting their resistance. You are rolling with it and helping them see the discrepancy between their current behavior and their core values. Finally, let us talk about relapse prevention. Your patient has made the change and they are in the action or maintenance phase. The goal now is entirely cognitive and behavioral. You need to teach them how to identify high-risk situations using the HALT acronym. Are they hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? You help them build active coping skills to serve the urge. Most importantly, you provide psychoeducation on the abstinence violation effect. You must teach them that a single lapse is just a slip, not a full-blown relapse. This minimizes shame and gets them back on track immediately. To summarize, use frames to raise awareness, use motivational interviewing to resolve ambivalence, and use relapse prevention to maintain the change. Which of these three do you find the hardest to implement in your clinical practice? Let me know in the comments below. If this framework helped you clarify these concepts, hit the like button and subscribe for more high-yield psychiatry resident guides.